Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're gonna grab this. So I'm gonna need this. Okay, what's up, everyone? This is BMT coming at you again. I'm definitely here for this one. I know I gave my thoughts on it earlier. My honest opinion on how I felt about the situation going on with the Haitian. Shout out to the new StreamYard. StreamYard is definitely kicking it up a notch every day, and I definitely enjoy when they do their due diligence and actually help the content creators with our jobs. very, very amazing in what they do. And I definitely am glad that we can have these kind of conversations. I sent out my link to my colleague, um, the one, the only attorney in the show. It is definitely, I definitely want to talk about this one. Like, I think it's one of those types of things where, as to we need to have a genuine conversation on, because I have feelings about this. Like, there's a lot of stuff I watched, and I covered over a lot of immigrants coming into the U.S. Um, and looking at it now on how they're coming into the U.S. Is the treatment fair? Is it adequate? Um, or is it something of a bias? Why do they get treated the way they do? We know that Haiti has had a long relationship with America, and looking at the situation, going on right now, it has to be something that they have to probably have addressed or taken into account. Um, Let me see, sure my colleague got it. Let me make sure my colleague got it. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the articles ready, but I definitely want to get to it when it comes to. I'm not gonna lie, that man getting whipped by a horse, it looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad. Yeah, yeah. I already sent you. I sent you the link. You want me to email it to you, or just doesn't matter? Okay, so she's already on the way. So, um, definitely, uh, I'm going to tackle this. I'm gonna try to stay neutral and tackle this as a non-biased American. I'm gonna try to talk. I want to, because I'm an American. I don't want to try to get into it too much on race. Me saying that already is going to cause problems. Race is so easy to get bogged into. And I heard somebody trying to stir up the pot last night, and I was like, okay, so we're complaining and complaining and complaining. Like, I think this is something that, can we fairly say that this is something that y'all want, that we want to get pushed into? I can't honestly say. We've had a long relationship with the Haitian community. We've had a long relationship with Jamaicans and Caribbean people. And a lot of them we have seen a lot of things happen to them. Is it fair to say that maybe that they have been getting the short end of the stick? Maybe they have been getting screwed over. Or is this something where, as to, it's not really our plight or our fight to be involved with? That we should, as Americans, be so embedded in this situation. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I was looking at what Tariq Nasheed, he was talking about it, because he did 1804 down there in Haiti. He did 1804 down there in Haiti. And I'm joined here by my colleague Michelle. And I want to go about this looking at it as just, in a sense, when me and Michelle talked about this story, I wanted us to try to tackle this as just Americans, right? Is that fair to say, Michelle?
You did.
But,
You did.
but it's hard because the black side of us is also pulling at this because it's like, they let that group in, they let that group in, and they let that group in. Why didn't they let that group in? And then you're looking at yourself like, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to my colleague Michelle on this one. Go ahead, Attorney Michelle, and she's also a local resident as well as in ground zero of what's going on there in Texas. Go ahead.
Greetings, everyone. I hope everyone's doing fine. I just want to reach out to my brothers and sisters. I don't often talk about the Black diaspora. You and I all know that there is a feeling that we get when we identify with someone that we identify with. That yes, I am an American. I love apple pie. I wear Nike. I love pizza just like everyone else. But there's also a part of me that identifies with the kinky hair, the dark skin, the wiggle when we walk because we got God blessed behinds. So yes, I do love my brothers and sisters, and I realize that I'm an American, but I'm part of the African diaspora, not by choice, not by will. And even if it had been by will, I still need to recognize that my kinship with Africa is there. The reason I call myself an African American or a person who was brought up in the African American culture is because up until 1964, there were two Americas. There was one for those that looked like me, whether their ancestors came here by force or came here voluntarily, before whether ancestors had been free or slave. There was a separate America for those that looked like me, that looked like the Haitians. That is part of our heritage, part of our culture. And so this is not the first time. Hopefully, we will make some changes so that it is close to the last time. But the way that they are treating the Haitians has more to do with the fact that they look like me than they come from a country called Haiti. So the question is, why aren't we? Yes, we can sit there and talk about how white people are doing our people wrong day in and day out. But the question is, what are we doing for the people that look like us, that are down there living in subhuman conditions? There's not a lot of food. There's clean water to drink, no place to bathe. Where are we when it comes to humanitarian relief to those people? Organizing for humanitarian relief. Because there's 12,000 of them down there. 12,000. 12 to 14,000 people whose country is war torn. Their president just got assassinated. They just got hit by another daggum hurricane before they had recovered from the last one. These people are coming here for hope. As bad as we can say we got treated here, they sicked horses on those people, not dogs. So we got to have some empathy.
So let's go ahead and get at it. Like I said, one of the things about it is, and again, it's not one of always the popular conversation. Somebody says the Hebrew Israelites were down there providing food, water, and clothes. Thank you for telling us about that, VW. That's definitely news to me. I did not know that they were down there. I'm gonna go ahead and read some articles as well as we have videos that Michelle definitely did the research to go grab. Shout out to her for grabbing the stuff. Let's go ahead and pull up some stuff. So one of the things about it is U.S. border agents. Let's create that big. U.S. border agents are removing Haitian migrants using horses and whips. This is why your country's, you know, one border patrol agent on horseback yelled at a group of Haitian migrants on the U.S. Mexico border in Texas. Now let's talk about that.
That picture right there, Joe. There are a lot of people that are trying to say those are just the horse reins on that man. But I ride horses. I ride horses. And
Let's talk
yes,
about.
yes, there may be some split reins. There may be. But you can use a split rein to whoop the hell out of cow, just like you can out of human. And look how he has that man by his shirt collar. He's riding full gallop on a horse. What's going to happen when he pulls that man? That man's
He's
going to
gonna,
fall. At best, that man's going to fall on his face.
he's gonna
You
get
cannot
dragged.
keep up. He's going to get dragged. He only did that. He wasn't trying to lift that man up on the horse. He's trying to knock that man down, make that man fall down.
I think this is definitely shedding a new light because everybody I've always heard like border patrol, border patrol, border patrol, border patrol. But now we're seeing definitely, like I said, I get well, you're going to say, all border patrol is not like this. Maybe, maybe not. But they damn sure weren't stopping this.
I
And
mean, when was the last time you saw a group of anybody but Haitians being herded like cattle?
I haven't seen that with the Hispanics. We've been watching the Hispanics. Everybody was complaining about them and vaccines and stuff. I haven't seen that with them. I haven't seen that with any group. The Guatemalans, the Panamanians, a lot of people who have come up through that peninsula. I've never seen it like that. And again, I'm just looking at it as an American, but I'm not gonna lie, that is very disturbing because y'all can say, "Oh man, they're playing on your racial tethers," or y'all won't like stop, dude. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and the fact that literally that was only just a few days ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna tell me that that's proper to take that. Mind you, that is used to speed up an animal or to steer an animal. That's not an animal. That's a man. He's running barefoot on dirt and rocks. He has no weapon. If anything, he has what looks like in his hands. Let's see if he has anything. He has trays of food, clothing. He has nothing that is of a weapon. That man cannot outrun that man. He has a horse. So you have to ask the question. United States Border Patrol agent on horseback tries to stop a migrant from entering an encampment on the banks of the Rio Grande near Ancona del Trio International Bridge in Del Rio, Texas, on September 19th, 2021. Like,
They used the slave patrols. They used the slave patrols on horseback to round up what they thought were runaway slaves in the same manner.
like it's gonna be hard to no matter what, you guys. And I invite anybody with this different reviews. We can have the conversation. How can you defend this? How can you really defend this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the high ground. He has a gun. He has a vest on. He has the equipment. This man is barefoot in shorts, a shirt. He has two trays of food. Probably all he's gonna get to eat, and whatever clothes he has in that bag. The other man has a Gatorade and some food. Notice there's two trays and stuff. Where is the threat? And it looks like they just got out of the water. So
What is so bad? There is a 600 car barricade from the United States side. The 12 to 14,000.
right,
The reports are not completely accurate. People are up under a bridge on the U.S. side. They're under the bridge on the U.S. side. In order to go get food, they have to wade through the water It's chest high water to go over to the Mexican side in order to try to hustle some food in Mexico. This is a daily thing for many of the men to bring home food for their children because there are women and children up under the bridge. Pregnant women, children, small children up under the bridge that they are trying to go into Mexico and feed. And the Mexican government at first was letting them go back and forth. Now they've started to beat these people, kick them in the head for coming back over into Mexico. So we damned if we do, damned if we don't. If they come into if they stay in the United States, they're being rounded up like cattle and being put on an airplane. At least it's an airplane. I don't know which kind of airplane, but they are being forcibly taken back to Haiti. And the Haitian government is like, wait, you guys, we're going to have another humanitarian crisis because we have nowhere to put them. Some of these people left Haiti after the first major hurricane in recent memory, earthquakes and hurricanes. They've been living in different South American countries for several years, and they heard Joe Biden basically say, "Come on over here." You know, it's a bright new day for Black people in America.
Right. No, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, G Dizzle. Shout out to G Dizzle, and also G Tech. Great show that he does over there and teaches people about tech. He says most of them have been granted asylum in Venezuela, and we do know about that. There is that definitely going on about the asylum. That there are places where they can be granted asylum. I think one of the things about it, real quick, just beat up, brother. I think one of the things about it is it's hard enough to, like I said, my thing is I'm looking at this is you can't say, hey, let's bring the people from Wuhan or different people from other countries in. Now these people are showing up. Now you got a problem. You see, now that's where you're going to have your issue. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but you can't say yes to let's fly these people over from this one country. But then you have a problem with these. And listen, listen, me and Michelle come from the conservative side. So y'all can miss me with that goddamn rhino shit. We're hardcore on about the conservative belief system. So when you're talking on certain things, I'm looking at this and I'm like, listen, Border Patrol officers on horseback swinging whips in the faces of Haitian families with toddlers scrambling across the Rio Grande back into Mexico to avoid being deported. Haitian parents crying as they face the prospect of being deported home to a social and political crisis that seems to see no end. Those were among the scenes in the town of Del Rio, Texas, over the weekend as the U.S. government took a hard-line stance against thousands of newly arrived Haitian migrants seeking protection. And the thing about it is we do have a policy that if your country is in a war-torn issue and you can seek asylum. We did make that. I still believe that's a thing, right, Michelle? That asylum thing. We did make that. If, mind you, Haiti is in a civil war, and if you are
United States back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, when Papa Bush was in office, the Haitians started to try to migrate to the United States by boat, and it got to the point where they were literally pulling alongside the Haitian boats, forcing them onto the American ships and taking them back to Haiti. And the Supreme Court of the United States said the commander-in-chief had every right to protect our borders. If he wanted to, he could basically have ordered the cruisers to open fire. While at the same time, the Cubans were welcomed with open arms because they were political refugees, not economic refugees. So what's the distinction between a political refugee and an economic refugee?
See, that's where the mixed bag happens because, and And this is a mixed bag because one, I'm gonna be for real. Can That's why I asked, can blacks really afford in this time to take on this type of issue? We got a lot of stuff going on already in our backyard. And thank you for this. This was another big issue that happened. They were riding horsebacks. Mind you, they were riding horseback into the people. I did not believe that until the show showed me that they were riding the horses through the camps. You can't be, dude. A horse can crush somebody. There should be no reason why that man should be doing that with that horse right there while he's coming out of the water. Like, there should be no reason why that. I'm not. I'm looking at it as, yo, there's a right way, there's a wrong way. And right now, there should be no reason why this guy is doing that. You see the range right there? Like I said, there should be no reason why he is doing that to that man. I'm just being very, very, very honest. Like, y'all, I mean, I'm here for the conversation. I'm here for, let me know where they do that at. Is this is how we're doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Granted, you have it where there's a woman right back there. They're in their pajamas and their drawers and stuff like that. So as you see, these people are just coming out of the water. Coming out of the water. Like, there's really no reason why. If you want to put them in a camp or you want to round them up, go ahead and do that. Even Haiti itself is protesting renewed deportation flights of citizens, saying it doesn't have the capacity to take its own people as its country reeled from the assassination of the president in a major earthquake in August that killed more than 2,000. Department of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas defended the treatment of the Haitians in the interview with CNN, saying that there was no contradiction in welcoming Afghan refugees while deporting Haitian refugees. Those two processes are quite different. We are bringing in Afghan nationals by air after they have been screened and vetted. That is a safe, orderly, and humane process. He said that is quite different than illegal entry in between ports of entry in a time pandemic. Now, that's why I call the BS. Because we just had it where a bunch of Hispanic people came through Mexico. Y'all remember that long chain that caravan that was coming? They got in. How is it that they were able to get in to America? So you can't have it where one group got in and the other one didn't. What's going on, brother D. Darrell? What's up, brother? Let's chop it.
What's up, man? What's up, BMT? What's
What's
going
going on,
on,
bro?
brother? Man, I'm not shocked at this, man. The bottom line, they just basically saying they don't want Negroes in this country. It's just putting it. They don't want more Negroes in this country. That's what this shit is. That's the underlining message. They don't want 20,000 plus people. That's gonna need a whole bunch of services and so forth. They don't want them in the country. Period. And you also got to understand this: the United States has always had a fickle relationship with Haiti. I mean, let's look at the stuff in the Clinton administration with Aristide and so forth. I mean, we've always had a very, very difficult and conflictual and exploitive relationship with Haiti. So, you know what I'm saying? So, let's look at all of the different tragedies that has happened where people have donated to Haiti, and the money, where did the money go, and so forth. That Americans donated clothes, money. This has happened several times. Every time Haiti has an issue and United States comes in and they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, I'm not shocked at this, man. They cause regime changes. The country is always unstable. I mean, for all the aid that this country has supposedly got, there has been no improvements in anything. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all, man. So I don't see a resolution to this outside of people just coming in here illegally and sneaking in just like any other group of people. That's it. You know, that's
So
it.
I got
I don't see any resolution to this.
the thing about it is, and one person says, "Is are they only going to show the pictures of them being abused?" Another person says, "Can you blame? Can you blame anyone? Send them all back from whatever country." Um, if that was the case, then you would be sending back the Hispanics, the Asians. You would be sending back the Afghans. You would be sending back the Europeans.
Right?
Keep that same energy. Send back the people from Cuba. Send them all back.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want to sound anti-immigrant, but the bottom line is that immigrants have a habit of looking down on black folks, whether they black themselves, whether they Haitian, Afro, Latino, uh, Asian, Indian, or whatever. They have a tendency to look down and come here with a very negative perception of black people, no matter how downtrodden of a condition that they came from. So I don't really, they're not really getting my sympathy, to be honest with you. I hate to sound raw with it like
Well,
that.
okay, let me get, since they're not getting your sympathy, let
Nope.
me let you get yourself in the right direction. That right now, white people have been just kind of accepting that black folks are here legally. We don't want them here, but they're here legally. So now that they realize that there are illegal Somalians, illegal Nigerians, illegal Haitians, do you think the white folks are going to look at you as anything other than a potential Haitian?
That's
What
not
Mark?
the point. The point is when these people come here, they treat and look at us and have a certain perception that is equivalent to white supremacy.
Maybe because in their country, a person is looked down upon that is not trying to make the most of their opportunities.
But that's not
Maybe
my
in,
problem. That's not my problem. What goes on in their country?
well, look,
That's
like I
not
said,
my problem.
you wanted to understand why they look down on you. They can't look down on you unless they get above you. If
Well,
a person
no,
is
that's
sitting,
not true. They look down on you based on propaganda. That's not true.
look, if a man is sitting up there starving in the street and you walking up there to give him some food, he's not looking down on you. And if you even thought he was looking down on you, you'd be the fool. I'm feeding you. I'm giving you some food. So how could I even think in my head that somebody is looking down on me?
So let's
I don't
Again,
even think.
I've been in Miami, and I have seen firsthand how Haitian people treat ADOS. I've seen this firsthand.
What did they do
With
to
my own
ADOS?
eyes. I've seen this with my
What
own
did they
eyes
do
and my
that you
own
thought
ears.
was?
Being
What did
treated
they
different
do?
when you go into Little Haiti in Miami. I've seen this with
What
my
did you
own
see?
eyes.
What did your own eyes see?
I've seen African people talk down and say negative stuff and say stereotypical things about black people in America. I have seen Afro Latino people claiming they ain't black. I've seen all these type of people that we as black people, we need to be more ethnocentric, we need to be more exclusive because these other people are not our friends, even if they're our own race, they don't have our best interests. We have done have had this type of mindset of trying to be inclusive, and it has not benefited us one bit. If it wasn't for the civil rights acts and so forth, they wouldn't even have the opportunity to come here. And those very same people that came here due to our blood, sweat, and tears came here and started looking down on us and talking down to us and having a mindset again that you would sworn it was a white supremacist speaking.
Okay,
So
I
I
love
don't
your
have any sympathy.
propaganda.
I don't have any sympathy for them.
And
I don't.
obviously, they don't have any sympathy. There are a lot of people who don't have sympathy for you. So let's get beyond. I don't have.
We've been
let me play this. Let me play this for
dealing
y'all.
with no sympathy for 400 years. That's nothing new. That's nothing new, Michelle.
And
When
the
have anybody ever had sympathy for black
power is
people in America?
inconvenience. No
Never.
lights, no
Huh? What'd you say? No, I'm saying if he wants me to answer his question, when have people had sympathy for me? For us. I'll say the 13th Amendment was passed 100% by white people. The 14th Amendment was passed 100% by white people. The 15th Amendment was passed 100% by white people. The Civil Rights Act of 1872, 100% by white people. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, 100% by white people. So I don't know what you mean that nobody's had any sympathy for us or empathy for us. There are people, white people, that have done the right thing. They realize that long and short of it,
Like who?
we all trace. Like who? What do you mean, like who? I just gave you Congress passing the civil.
Who?
The majority
That's
of Congress.
sympathy. That's just a matter of law. That has nothing to do with
It
sympathy.
wasn't a matter of law until they passed it.
That has just law. Law has nothing to do with
Yes,
sympathy.
that is just. But the reason they pass laws is because they empathize. You do not sit up there and pass laws to protect the right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's going in and out, but I can hear you now.
Okay. What I'm saying is
It's going
that
in.
you. Let me see if I can get a better reception. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me go to default. Okay. Now, y'all hearing me better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. I want to say this. I stated how I felt about the situation last night. I am more for, and this is like, for me growing up, I remember what it was like to see Jamaicans get to wave their flag, Haitians get to wave their flag, people from Barbados or Trinidad or different other Nigerians or people from Ghana. I watched other black people wave their flag when I grew up. And then they would always say, well, you wanted a white man. And I'll be like, okay, I get it. But you're here. You came here to where I'm at. You came here on the backs of what I've and my kin built. So in hearing that, I always ask, and it's like, well, everybody, I'm gonna say this, everybody wants to walk with the Black American struggle, but nobody wants to be in that. And I feel like we have our own issues. Just fairly just talking, you know. I told you, I'm just talking that, like, I have my issues that I have to deal with, Brother D. Jarrell and turning the ship. I don't have much resources to worry about what's going on down here in Haiti. It's a Black American man. So this situation right here, granted, I'm not gonna lie. I know other immigrants are coming. I know these are problematic, but I'm like, yo, it just means more resources that are going to probably have to get pushed out. Now, what other people may feel about that, that's on them. I'm not stopping y'all, but I'm saying that these are more players on the table. Other people have their culture to back them. This is pretty much.
I mean, I'm a Black Texan. And we embrace that. I'm a Black Texan. I've waved the Texas flag. I'm proud of the Texas flag. I'm proud of the Buffalo Soldiers. I'm proud of what we've accomplished here. We can do a lot better. The thing about it is, I call for empathy. At the end of the day, I'm not sitting up here saying that, they need to jump in line in front of other people. But if you understand that we have a quota system based on ethnicity for this country, then you wouldn't open your mouth and talk about why can't they come over here like everybody else. There are some people that are on wait lists for 10 and 20 years just because of the country that they're coming from. Other people get fast tracked because they come from a European nation or they come from the Soviet bloc. So it's not like our immigration system is first come, first serve. There are a lot of different barriers that are based on race and ethnicity, age, your intelligence quotient. There are a lot of things that are intentionally done to limit the less desirable in the United States. But
Meaning they don't want people of color coming in here. that's basically what, to make the story short. They don't want black people. They don't want people of color, and particularly people from certain countries. They don't want them in this country. To me, I am anti. I'm being be honest with you. They need to close the doors on everybody. Have a closed door policy, in my opinion. We don't need immigrants coming in here. We don't need people from other countries coming in here, drying up the system and getting resources and other things. And to be honest with you, resources that we could actually benefit from as a people, that other people are getting pushed in front of the line from us. I don't have time to be worrying about uh, the trials and tribulations of other people from other countries. I know that may sound bad and sound selfish, but the problem with us as black people, we worry about everybody else except us. I'm about
no, the
putting us
problem with
first.
black people is we don't have a long-term plan. We worry about ourselves. We worry about
that too, but we worry too much about other people.
no. As far as microeconomics go,
They don't work. They don't care about us, Michelle.
Yes, they do because
No, they
during
don't. No, they don't. How? Give me examples.
Okay, give you an example. During W.E. Du Bois, that when
Wait a
things
minute.
became
That's 100 years ago. Over 100 years
you
ago.
said give you an example. Give you an example. Let me give you an example. That the Haitians, excuse me. You want an example. You want it in context. My brother, I'm going to break it down to you. Because if you had come around my black brothers and sisters here in Texas and come out talking, you come around my black brothers and sisters because we don't talk and walk like you. We sit up there, we embrace the duality. We embrace the duality that we are black people from Texas, that Texas has great traditions. We got the best barbecue. We showed the white man how to do it in the first place. That is where we are. We have a source of pride in who and what we are. That at the end of the day, if you came around people that have pride in themselves, talking crap, you would say they showed me empathy by not kicking my black ass because I would have been all by myself because don't nobody have no empathy for me. You're right. People have empathy for people that show them empathy. You got to treat people right to be treated right by people. That at the end of the day, this show is about, there are plenty of resources we have within the African American community. And that you act like you don't know about the resources in the African American community.
So let's go ahead and do this.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and do this right here.
$1.2 in spending power. That must be some kind of resource.
Let me go ahead and do this. Let me get to the footage. Can y'all see the footage? Fair use. We are just showing what's going on down here. But let's go ahead and check this out. Can y'all hear it?
Have you seen anything like this before?
No, this is the first time.
This is what the U.S.'s immigration waiting room looks like
Yeah,
in Del Rio, Texas.
Little third world country right there.
150 miles west of San Antonio. Thousands of migrants living in makeshift huts, sleeping in the dirt, waiting their turn to get processed by U.S. immigration authorities. As DHS Secretary Mayorkas witnessed today.
If you come to the United States illegally, you will be returned. Your journey will not succeed, and you will be endangering your life and your family's lives.
So right now we're going down to the international bridge here in Del Rio.
CNN rode along with Lieutenant Christopher Olivares with the Texas Department of Public Safety.
So right now we're here at one of the, this is the area, this is the main area that they were crossing.
Our first stop, an area where from the air, CNN cameras had captured migrants crossing freely just for days.
They were crossing to and from the U.S. via this dam. Just take a look. That's Mexico. You can see the flag flying.
And now the flow has stopped. Olivares says this sea of Texas state troopers helped secure the river.
Just be careful.
And moments later, we see the shocking scene under the Del Rio International Bridge. Thousands of migrants, mostly Haitian, say officials, living in squalor, like James Centillas, who says he left his home country for Chile in 2015 with his wife and 2 children.
He says that someone assaulted him in Haiti and someone shot at his aunt.
And 2 months ago, they started the track to the United States.
You say that the route is open to enter in the United States. What does that mean? Family, friends, he
The
said.
route? What the hell's the route?
Dijeron, la frontera está abierta.
We
The
ain't
border-
swimming.
Tengo muchas personas.
Tillis's voice breaks as he talks about his family.
So why is it so painful?
Estamos sufriendo acá. Estamos sufriendo.
Because you're suffering.
He says food is hard to come by and the weather is tough to bear.
If you look closely, you'll see that these are men, women, children. I see pregnant women, infants.
Border Patrol's top cop announcing this weekend a surge of 600 agents, officers.
I remember those little trucks.
Why Del Rio? Why now? What does your intelligence tell you?
Traditionally, it's because of word of mouth. Certainly what happened this time is that number doubled and then tripled relatively quickly.
And to expedite processing, removal flights to Haiti have increased, says Border Patrol. And word about this is spreading quickly under the bridge,
You don't want to return to Haiti. It's too difficult, you say.
where the immigration waiting room into the U.S. is quickly turning into a gate back to Haiti.
All right. So now that we got to see that, and we got to see
You know, like I said, that is a humanitarian crisis. It is humanitarian crisis. People are going to get sick. They're going to spread disease. It's not healthy for their kids. I don't even know how close the Border Patrol agents are coming toward these people, but they could bring those contagions into the United States. I mean, these people don't have basic sanitation. I mean, let's talk about what we really see, because we never know what's going to happen in the United States. We might be jumping on a boat one of these days to try to get over to Haiti. And it may not be the white man's fault. We may be running from the Chinese. So at the end of the day, thinking long term and thinking that this is a humanitarian crisis, I don't care what color you are. Seeing these people starving right outside our border. We throw away so much food every day. We throw away, I mean, thousands upon thousands of pounds of food every day. At least we could take them some, stale Starbucks donuts that we ain't gonna eat. Some 2-day-old Popeyes. We could be calling for those kind of things. We don't want to eat it. We ain't gonna buy it. They couldn't even give it to us. But do you know what it would be like if we got organized and got major corporations like Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, all your old food, your stale food, let's just take it down to the border for a couple of weeks. At least give them some food. All this toilet paper people been hoarding, let's see if we can get them some wet wipes and some toilet paper down. Because at least we got some socks you can use and wash.
Okay, I hear you with that. We're joined here by Kareem. What's going on? Hey.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing? The optics of this looks so bad. Like I said in other panels, I know Daryl's position on it, and I respect your position. I understand some Black Americans feeling or FBA feelings about not wanting to condone illegal immigration. But like I said shout out to Ed Anderson. I said on his panel that everyone was always talking about how the birth rate in America is low, how we do need immigration, and this country always existed with immigration. And I know people say this is illegal, but if you vet the people, we could vet them properly. If we are allowing Afghans and other races of people in this country, we should also have compassion. I know there's the TPA, the temporary protection order, that had a lot of people from the earthquake back in 2010, and I know that some people are here already on that. But like I said, we are letting in Afghans and other groups. So why can't we have some compassion um, for these groups of people? Now, people saying, "Oh, they're Caribbean." I'm Jamaican, and people are saying, "Oh, what happened to the other Caribbean?" A lot of Caribbean countries have taken some Haitians in, but they're third world. A lot of Caribbean countries are not rich. They don't have the resources America do, the United States do. So they can't. They only could absorb so much. So like I said, the optics look terrible. These people it just looks so bad, and we need to have compassion, and so they should let some of these people in the country. I don't care. Also, I just want to say this too. A lot of immigrants, especially the illegal ones or undocumented ones, I don't like to say illegal, undocumented, are being treated so bad. There's forced sterilization. There's a lot of people now, they're suing ICE and they're suing the detention centers for forcing sterilization on women, on African women. There's stories that people don't mention. They treat them terrible in these places, and we need to speak out about that as well. There's the Hispanic and the Latino organization that speaks out for their people. Where are we speaking out for these immigrants that don't have a voice for themselves? We should speak out, and stand in solidarity with these people because they're black. They're black like us. And like the female said, who knows if we don't have to all run to Haiti soon? We don't know what's going to happen in 10, 20 years from now. So, like I said, compassion and let's think like strategically in the future, because like I said, if all these Afghans and these other people are coming into the country, and America have so much land all over the world. I mean, not all over the world, land all over the United States. There's a lot of places that don't have people living in there where they could put people. They do. This is a vast country, So that's my point of view. Thank you.
So BMT, I got a question for you, BMT.
Let me read the super
Okay.
chat real quick. And I'll answer the question. Where's the next one? There we go. What about our people? Our people are homeless. Our people are sick. Our people are suffering. What about us? Thank you so much, Managoism, for the $5 super chat. Very much so donated. All donations as of now, they are going towards e-learning for children doing e-learning, because dang it, these kids, they need help. I don't know how many kids are gonna pass this year for doing e-learning. It sucks, but it's. I grew up in the Northeast around a bunch of different different diasporas of children. There's Haitians. When I was in Connecticut, there were Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bahamians. Like I said, I grew up around different diasporas. And we all knew we all knew we were black, but you were reminded, you say, "Oh, you're black. I'm Jamaican." They say they're black, but they'll let you know. They'll say, I'm Haitian. They'll let you know what culture they are. It's one of those things where it's like you're asking for something to happen, but in the callousness of it, when it always was bad. And thank you for the $5 super chat, Faith. When is anyone going to have compassion for black people that are already here? Thank you, Faith, for that. And this is something that this is where I get nerve-wracked about, because I don't know where can black Americans go when shit gets bad. I would ask that question, where can we go when shit gets bad? We talked about Pan-Africanism, but everybody's not on code with that. The HBCUs, we know all the other diasporas, they come to the HBCUs. but those were predominantly made for Black American children that were not allowed to go to white American schools. I'm trying to stay away from the race shit. We're here about the feeling of this. That's why I said I really don't have a mixed feel.
I mean, I'm looking at it like this, Joe. I understand. I
I'm just
understand
saying, like
the conflict.
I
I
hear what
understand the
you're
mental.
saying, but I'm
I
also like,
understand the mental conflict, but also look at the Jewish Americans here. They have no problem saying support Israel. Support Israel. They don't feel like they're being a traitor to their country because they want the United States to support Israel. You don't see the people of Palestinian descent that are here having any problems petitioning to help the people that are in the Gaza Strip. So it's not a disloyal. I'm not being disloyal as an American. I'm saying yes, we want immigrants to come here legally, but I do know that scales are balanced against specifically the Haitian refugees because they're considered economic refugees. Well, how much did we play in the as the United States
so is
into
it for
creating
us
the
as Black
economic?
Americans to put the Asian? So I'm asking the question: is it for us as Black Americans to put the Haitian Americans on our scale also?
You know, I'll say it to you like this. This may sound like the most racist thing ever, and forgive me, but if I had my brothers, would I rather the Haitians be processed and those that could benefit the United States come in? I'd rather see the Haitians come in than see the people from the Afrikaners from South Africa. They're petitioning to come here.
And you know what? I would agree with you on that. That's where I have the clause of where I understand what I'm like this. There's no way I'm gonna be for the Afghans to come in. The the people from Asia to come in or other countries are coming in. But you mean to tell me all this ruckus for when somebody like me is coming in? Like now I got a fucking problem. And no offense, but toward a lot of Democratic liberals, y'all were banging hard. What about the black and brown? So y'all were definitely on it. Mexico. Because when COVID hit, y'all didn't want black people. Y'all didn't want anybody, any American coming into South America. Now, granted, other people are doing. Let me shout out to Monogoism. He says the Africans and the Caribbean people don't like us, and they are in our country. Boy, I'm gonna have to do a talk on that later because there is a silent. There are clashes with Caribbeans and Black Americans. There are
Yeah,
clashes.
there's tribalism, but at the end of the day, we're black people. Everybody else sees us as black people. That's the point that we need to understand. We are black people. Okay, yes, I understand what you were saying. That I when people ask me what I am, if another black person look at me, they always ask me what I am. I'm gonna say I'm Jamaican because there's another black person is asking me my ethnicity. They're not asking me my color. They're asking me where I look because I look like I look I'm from the islands, or I look like I'm African. I don't look
Your
Black
cultural
American.
background.
That's what people talk to me. Yeah. So ethnicity and race is two different things. And I think that's the problem with people when people say Jamaicans or Haitians or Dominicans or whatever, saying that, well, Dominicans is probably different, but they're saying that they're trying to say that they're not black. No, I'm telling you my ethnicity because everybody could clearly see that I'm black. I can't say what I'm going to say. I'm a white woman. Come on, let's keep it real. I'm clearly a black person. So if you ask me, oh, where your people's from? I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm Jamaican, because that's where my people's from. It's not a diss to Black Americans or anybody else. It's just acknowledging where I'm from. So yeah, Jamaicans and other people are proud of their culture because we're proud people. Black people in general are proud. So like I said, let's take that out. There's tribalism, and then there's intercultural, there's all these little things that people have, but we need to stand in solidarity with black people. This is why we are the way we are, because other folks stand in solidarity with their people, but we don't do it with our people. and that's why we're always going to be divided.
Right now, I would ask this question, and the reason why, and this is the thing about it, and this is the thing about it why I ask about you, and I say this. When it came time for when they said, hey, the black Americans would like to receive reparations from America, the other tribes weren't really for that. That was before all this situation happened. I think that's where it's like, if you're not for me when I have a situation, it's hard for me to be for you now in your plight. I'm listening. I'm only just putting out for you what I've watched throughout. Yeah, we do have these diaspora in-house eruptions, and I'm gonna have to do a talk about the cultured versus the uncultured. That seems to be a big issue because a lot of people say black people aren't cultured. Then you can also say, well, then you got the different music, you got the different foods, you got the different types of backgrounds, languages, and ideologies and treatments and spirituality and hindsight. Now it's where, okay, I don't want to go back home. Then where are you going to go? I don't. I want to come to America. Where are you going to go? What city? What area? What state? You know, what state is willing to take you in? And if they're willing to take you in, you know, are you going to get thrown into the black diaspora? Is this something that we should just keep on? Is it going to help? Is it going to help us expand? I want to go and say, I stand with my people, American Aborigine, my people, my tribe. Thank you. Thank you, Monica Wisdom. This is a pretty sticky one of a situation because a lot of people, it's just that it's really bad right now. There are children at the border. Of course, there are pregnant women at the border. We do know a lot of them are in South America. So let me go ahead and play this one right here. And I can get y'all feel on this one. We go this one. Shout out to everyone. Thank you for the donations. Like I said, donations will be going towards. Did I have it? I had it. I got so many links open. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and knock this out. All right, everyone. Fair use, and I'm just showing y'all this one.
Crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. The United States has begun flying would-be asylum seekers out of a Texas border town. A makeshift camp at the Del Rio International Bridge has quickly grown to more than 12,000 migrants, most of them from Haiti. Local residents say they don't have the resources to help them.
Thousands of Haitians have crossed the border from Mexico to the United States, ending up in makeshift camps in Texas. Living under this bridge, they lack the basic necessities: no shelter, food, water, or sanitation. More than 12,000 people are waiting to be processed by immigration authorities. Many made the desperate journey through Central and South America, fleeing poverty, violence, and natural disasters, looking for a better life. For the past week, migrants have been crossing the Rio Grande from Mexico into the town of Del Rio in the U.S., trying to bring food and other supplies for their families.
There's not enough food for everyone in the camp. It's very bad. We have to leave to look for food.
Overwhelmed by the influx of migrants, the U.S. government is trying to stem the flow. Border agents have stepped up security, preventing people from entering and leaving many.
Guy fall down?
With the Mexican guard here, I can't cross here, and I also can't cross there. There are no options because I could keep going to the US, but if I go back to Mexico, they'll send me back and I'll lose the money I have.
Some are being moved to shelters and immigration processing centers, but they've been scarred by the harrowing journeys that brought them here.
I walked and ran, with migration officials chasing us. Not all people are good. There are bad ones too, and they scammed us in other countries too. They took our money. We survived a lot of calamities.
While a humanitarian crisis unfolds, the US and Mexican authorities have ordered the deportation of hundreds of Haitians. Thousands more could follow. It could become America's biggest expulsions of migrants or refugees in decades.
And for more now, we want to go to our Washington Bureau Chief, Ines Pohl. She is at the border crossing in Del Rio right now. Ines, it's good to have you with us. You've been talking to people there. What have they been telling you? What's happening at the border right now?
Well, Brent, behind me, behind this fence, people are being put in buses at this very moment, and some of them will be brought to airports and be flown out to Haiti as soon as possible. We talked to the border control and asked them if you could enter and do our jobs as journalists and report on what exactly is happening here behind this fence, but they didn't allow us in.
And so can we describe what the conditions are like underneath this bridge where all of these would-be asylum seekers are living?
It's extremely hot here. It's more than 40 degrees Celsius in the shade. That means over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, this is in the shade. Therefore, all these refugees kind of search for some shelter under this bridge. The circumstances are devastating. We could talk to some people who have been there last night. They don't have any food. We heard that in your report. There are hardly any toilets, there's hardly any water. One woman went into labor, so the situation is just devastating.
And the U.S. has launched this mass expulsion of Haitian migrants from Texas. And what message is the U.S. trying to send to people who are trying to reach the U.S.?
Well, Brent, there is one picture out on Twitter from a colleague. I think this will be the iconic picture of this event, if one can say so, of that. What is happening here right now is a picture of border control on horses. They are cracking their whips on Haitian refugees, trying to prevent them from coming here to the United States, seeking a...
Now that he did hit him with that whip, I can't cap on that. He did hit him with that whip.
I said, those reins can be used as whips.
Wow.
I'm from Texas. When you have a split rein like that, you can use those to whip the cattle. That's why they do the split reins, because it's harder to control the horse.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a hit, man. Like he got shot. Oh, that one. Hey, we can't allow that one. Everybody saw that one. They're like, oh shit. Like, I'll be a laugh, but that was definitely a hit. Watch it. This guy right here, he's gonna take it and whirl it up, so it's gonna come and chop him. This is wow.
On Haitian refugees, trying to prevent them from coming here to the United States, seeking asylum, seeking some human treatment. And this is the exact kind of message the administration, the Biden administration wants to send. That's also a thing. If you come here, administration, the Biden...
If you never been, any of y'all ever been on ranches or stuff like that, you're not supposed to ride horses like that too close to children like that.
A horse will rear up and punch a grown man out. Those hooves are deadly weapons.
You're not supposed to. I'm just being honest. You're not supposed to rear up horses like that. Like what he's doing is he's revving up the horse and kicking it. If that horse were to get too excited, it would hit them children, or it could hit that these horses are children.
Horses' hooves hooves are heavy by themselves, but they have metal on them. So that would be like getting hit with brass knuckles.
So I'm just being for real, man. He could probably kill him. Like, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not taking no sides. I've been very neutral. But literally, if you were to do that, like on like my family's ranch, like I've seen cattle hands get fired immediately. Like when the kids are around, they tell you, "Hey, don't be yeah." Like when you say yeah, or you're like you gattle up the horse, you can literally get somebody hurt. But what happened to the horse freaks out, which happens even with the most experienced ones. Then you can end up hurting somebody. That's why they say wait till you get away, or they usually tell people like, "Show what do they say? Everybody back up. He's about to leave." So that way, something happens, nobody gets hurt. A horse falling on top of a grown man, that could kill him. That could kill a man. So I don't agree with that.
Kind of message the Biden administration wants to send. If you come here, we will send you back, even if that means we send you back to a place.
He backed up. You see how he backed up on that woman with that horse? If that horse would have kicked up his leg, it would have hit that child, the other child in her hand.
And Edith, you are describing what is obviously a crisis at the border, and yet the Biden administration still refuses to call it a crisis.
Well, Brent, these are the worst images for Joe Biden at this moment. He's facing harsh critiques anyhow because of his withdrawal from Afghanistan, which led to tens of thousands of Afghan refugees already seeking asylum here in the United States. He gets harshly criticized by his opponents of his refugee policy anyhow. So I'm sure that he also doesn't want to come here because he doesn't want to be associated with these pictures. So he just tries to kind of resolve this crisis as soon as possible by sending these people back.
All right, our very own Enos Paul in Del Rio.
Man, y'all can't say this is Fox News or this is CNN. This is good job. Michelle, we need to go get more non-biased. Let me go subscribe to you.
Exactly.
I have a suggestion. BMT. I have a suggestion. Okay, so Haiti is former French colony. Why isn't France taking some of these Haitians? Because after all, they're the one that made Haiti the way it is. Why isn't France in this conversation? And because a lot of these people speak French, they would assimilate to the country fine. They speak French. Why France don't want to take some of these Haitians?
Because France still mad about losing the war in 1814. That's why.
They're not gonna take the people that beat them back. Like they're like, nah, y'all beat us up and ran us off. So
no, but a lot of Haitians. Okay, a lot of Haitians. If you know Haitians, a lot of their family members migrate to France because they speak the language and they could, like I said, assimilate in France. Good.
I agree.
So let them go to France.
I would feel. Listen,
well, I was in Belgium. I was in Belgium when they got French refugees and refugees from the Congo. Both speak French-speaking countries. It got so bad in the tents. My roommate was a doctor. The immigrants were intentionally mutilating themselves in order to come into Belgium hospitals. It was that bad out there. As an African American, I know how to perm my hair. So the weaves and the whole perms were not readily available in Belgium. And the women had to wear, the African women that were in Belgium had to wear wigs to work. You were not allowed to show up at work with your natural hair. This was during the 90s, and it was atrocious. It was very atrocious. They showed up in droves. They were confined in barbed wire like enclosures. So a lot of people remember that. Many were summarily deported back to Haiti and to the Congo. And that's a long, expensive trek to make to go to Europe. We are closer. Getting them here to on the American continent is a lot cheaper. Obviously, somebody had to help them cross the Gulf of Mexico. They got across the Gulf of Mexico. I'm sure it wasn't cheap. Then they migrated the rest of the way up, looking to get to the United States. We're a lot of things, but unless you've traveled outside the United States frequently, you don't realize how difficult it is for Africans and Caribbeans in those countries in Europe.
Now, here's
So
the thing.
so
Let me put this out there for the super chat real quick, and I got you, D. Somebody says, "My people suffer no foreign. So-called black people help us real talk." And also, shout out to Faith. Faith put this out here. Haitian woman once called me a slave. Now they at the border being treated like slaves. So, all right, go ahead, D.
so BMT, I got a question for you. Just an honest question. So whoever offered African American out of the the inhumane things that we experience, what countries offered us asylum? What countries opened their doors to us when we went through slavery, Jim Crow, and everything else, the civil rights movement? I mean, I want to know who wanted to help us. I mean, let's. I mean, I believe in reciprocity. You know what I mean? So I want to know who offered us anything when we were in trouble and when we were in a state of need, being shot up, and dogs being sicked on us, and black men getting shot for no reason. I mean, who's opening up asylum for us? Who's opening up the doors so that we can come in freely and give us free citizenship and all these different goodies and these entitlements and handouts and so forth? I want to know that.
Well,
Honestly,
many black people, including Harriet Tubman, ran to Canada. Canada did offer many of the American slaves asylum in Canada. That's a historical fact. That
Okay.
Mexico, many people went to Mexico from the United States. They were not granted citizenship in Mexico until about 1992 or
And in
later.
Cuba, right, during the civil rights, a lot of civil rights leaders, they went to Cuba, Algeria, Angola. So a lot of people went to different parts in the world and they got asylum and were welcome.
what are your thoughts on that, D? Like, I think one of the things about it is, and I'm gonna ask this: if I were to ask any of these countries to contribute a dowry towards us fighting for reparations, would they do it? Would it be wrong for me to ask that?
Well, Jamaica is asking for British for reparations. So I know Jamaica is in solidarity with ADOS and FBA Black Americans for reparations. We are, because we're asking for reparations from the British. So to say that other people don't stand in solidarity with you guys to get your reparations is inaccurate. Just to point that point out.
I'm just asking about, like, I just want to know, like, the thing about it is, it's about making deals about these things. Like I said, because I really want this to be a conversation. That's why me and Michelle
I
said,
mean,
let's have a
Joe, I just sent you a link and I'll find others. People in the United States are going, what is Ghana doing for us? What is Nigerian doing for us? And I think I just sent you the wrong thing. Hold on. But to make a long story
Nothing.
short, Ghana is asking any African American who would like to relocate to Ghana to come back.
And who funded that, Michelle?
Mostly private donations.
No, the United States government funded the return, the right of return. Our
We have
government
the right
funded
of
that.
return to go to Liberia.
No, that was to Ghana also, and the United States government funded that. Those countries didn't even put up their own money to fund that. This country funded it. Matter of fact, our tax dollars funded it. That's facts.
I think one of the things about it is this, because at the end of the day, the government is possibly going to relocate these people. Probably going to send them back. It sucks. It really do. I mean, shit, I could talk to a few people and say, hey, you want to send down some water, some food. They might take the women, they'll take the children. They'll probably take the children. If the children somehow, by coincidence, found a way up there, and they'll probably take the children. They might take a little bit of the women. Probably less than 0.1% of the men, if that. But them 12,000, they're going to send them back. They're going to send. I'll probably say 200 of them will probably might get it. 200 out of 1,200. 1,200, I believe that's a city. That's literally a city. So I'm very like. First of all, I would like to know what boat were they on to make that damn journey. That's so damn. I need to see that fucking boat. And the thing about it is, for them to make it past Cuba, then to the Gulf, they couldn't have just got to make it. Because we just had we just had so many hurricanes and stuff. And not only that, the nation was closed.
Some of them been in South America since 2015. That's what the lady
Right,
reported.
so
That some of these people were been in South America for years, and they were tracked like they've been there for years. So they didn't just leave Haiti like last week. They've been there for years.
So now, if they've been there for that long, why now in South America pushing them out?
Because they said they literally have to walk. I don't know. Listen, I'm just reporting what they're saying. They said they literally have to walk from Chile or wherever they were to the border. So if you're walking, if that's true, it's gonna take you a couple years. I mean, if you're there, you have to work, you have to make some money. I mean, it's gonna take you. You can't just. I don't think you would just. It would take you a while to get to. They probably was waiting until Trump leave office, because like Trump wasn't nice. Trump wasn't trying to let people in, so maybe they didn't want to take the chance then. I don't know. All I know is like I think we should have some compassion for some. I'm not saying let everybody in, because we don't know these people, vet them, but some people, like if we could let 100,000 Afghan in, we can't leave at least 2,000, 5,000 Haitians. Come on, it's just not. It doesn't seem right to me.
I'm hearing, I'm listening to all sides, and y'all know this. I on this one. I have Haitian friends. I have a lot of Caribbean friends, but I also have my duties towards my people here. And I'm like, I can't. It's like me having a bowl of oatmeal. I can't feed the neighborhood kid, that they're hungry, but not feed my children. Does that make any sense?
Okay, like we're being ridiculous. Nobody's starving in like that in the U.S. really, because they have food stamps. People have food here. I've never seen nobody in my neighborhood really starve because they have food. I live in New York City. Nobody's really starving unless they're like running away or they're a battered person or whatever, because they have food stamps and stuff for people to eat food. They have churches that give people food here. Let's be real, like the suffering that they're suffering and the suffering that some people are suffering here is not the same. It doesn't equate. Yes, I know that there are people are poor, and I know there's homeless people, but a lot of those homeless people there's mental illness with that. It's not just a regular family just being homeless just to be homeless. There's a lot of mental illness with the homelessness, especially in New York, and we have a homeless problem in New York City. But a lot of them I see is a mental illness thing. It's not really just because they're poor, because they put people in shelters and stuff here in New York City, men and women. So like I said, we have the resources if we really use it to help some of the people. Not all of them. I don't think 12,000 people should be, they're going to put 12,000 people up, but 5,000, we have the resources to put 100,000 Afghans, but we don't have the resources for 5,000 Haitians. Really? It's not fair, and it's wrong. I know people don't agree, and I know that you guys are America, 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 ADOS, but we don't live in a world like that. This is we live in a world with a lot of other people.
I'm just listening, and the thing about it is this, and I'm not America, I'm Geechee Gullah. But I'm also like this, but I'm listening to everyone. My thing is this: how does this benefit me? See, if I bring you in, if I help you come in, how does this help me? I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but everything comes with a price, especially in this country. If I give you work, what does that mean about me having work? My children. If I give you access to certain stuff like this, we already know. We already understand. We already understand unemployment. They're not putting everybody on unemployment. We understand that a lot of different things. We say that we have a whole abundance of resources, but do we truly have them? Because we're looking at some deficits right now. So, and
Okay. I listen. I'm passionate about this, so I'm sorry if I sound crazy.
I don't know. It's
To
okay.
everyone,
It's all
I'm
right.
just
It's all
saying
right.
that I hear what you're saying about help, but okay, let's stick to the math. We have the resources to house and feed 100,000, and I'm saying that we can't help uh 100,000 and 12,000. The difference, there's a difference. Now I'm not saying to take all 12,000 people in. Maybe we could work on something with France, Canada, some other countries to put other people, but we can't take 2,000, 5,000. That's my point. My point is the 100,000 Afghans, the Mexican people, the Costa Rica, all the other people that come in the country don't help us, but we helping them. Our tax money is going to them, so why not have compassion for somebody that look like you and me rather than somebody that don't look like us? Because the Afghan don't look
Exactly.
like us. They don't look like us. It don't benefit you.
I
They
didn't
don't take
now.
their resources too.
Now the thing about it is, now I'm hearing what you're saying, and I get the compassion. And the thing about it is, I said the same thing already. I said the same thing. I said, listen, if I'm interested that they took on this child and that child, I have a problem with that child. I said, I'm looking at it as something that looks like you, not being really being adopted. As far as I go, I ain't had no problem. Like if it's women and children, like a woman going into labor, I don't agree with her being in that camp. I think they should probably take her to, which most likely they probably took her to a facility. Um, if they want to put them in the Midwest or put them out there in some area, I mean, if they can reacclimate to that climate, good fucking luck. I wish them the best of luck out there in Nebraska or Kansas or wherever fucking place that they put them out in. Good luck surviving it. It's going to be very hard.
Listen, they get a
Very.
cold. They'll survive. Let's just be
No, no,
real.
no.
They can send them to
If they can survive
Alaska.
it,
Alaska don't have nobody there. Send them to Alaska. Put on coats. They
no,
have
no,
they're going
What?
no,
have to starve. They have
Green,
they
if
have
we,
the resources. My
Green,
point is they have the
no. If
resources.
we send them to Alaska, they would die. That's too much. Like I
They're
wouldn't
not
even
gonna
want them.
die. They're not gonna die. They could wear coats and they'll after years or two they'll be all right. Listen, we have the resources to house at least 5,000 of these people. I'm just saying, people are not being fair, and that people are not looking at the overall picture. They're just being me. Listen, it's
Wait a
all
minute,
listen.
but they're coming in illegally. I mean, we have a right to decide who
It's not.
comes in and
It's not
out.
illegally. They're asking for asylum. It's refugee. They're
You ask,
refugee.
but you have the right to deny it. You can deny that asylum.
Okay, but Alaska is.
We didn't grant
Listen,
them asylum
you know how
legally.
big Alaska is. You know how big Alaska is. They could put them in Alaska. If you don't want them in New York or you don't want them in Miami or wherever, put them in Alaska. Put them in Nebraska. Put them in Wisconsin. All those places need people. They
Why
have a
is it that
shortage of people.
BMT? Why is it that America always have to be the place to be the bigger man to take in all the world problems?
I don't agree with that.
There are other countries. What happened to England, and they can go to England? Why isn't Mexico taking in? They could stay in Mexico.
I always keep asking my Russian neighbor, why don't y'all open up Russia? But nobody wants to go to Putin. Nobody ever wants to go to Putin's ass.
They want to come and sap all the resources out of this country, and then look down on black people in the process.
Only thing I'm saying is this, and this is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is this. Mexico. Only thing I'm looking at. Hang on, let me read this message. Y'all be sending me something. Listen. I can't read. Y'all be writing me whole stories. Jesus Christ. Okay, Mexico is the top origin country of the immigrant population in 2018. Roughly 11.2 million immigrants living in the U.S. Um, were from Mexico, accounting 25% of the U.S. immigrants. The next largest origin group was the China, India, Philippines, and El Salvador. Now, all those countries that y'all just named, right? Those are all money financial deals. If you were to say Mexico, I'm going to say automation. If you're going to say China, shit, go to Walmart. Made in China's all over that motherfucker. If you were to say something about India, please go call your next tech service agency. Them Indian kids at a young age, as well as your sneakers, are in India. Everything, most multi-billionaires or most billion-dollar corporations, they're involved with those places. Understand, America is a big business. I hate saying it, but it's a corporation. You're going to have to go, and Michelle, you said this, right? You're listening, right? You're going to have to find a multi-financial individual who is willing to say, I will invest in Haiti. And U.S., if you will listen to me, then yeah. If you don't have nobody with money that really gives a fuck about Haiti, then ain't nobody is going to step in to really invest in that. Like, I'm being honest. It's business. You don't have to like it. But when you say Mexico, right? There are Americans that go to Mexico for work every day. We got Ford down there. We got a lot of car automation down there. You don't believe me? Look it up. China. We get a lot of China has our medical shit. So of course they didn't have banks here. You want to bring up India, a lot of tech or a lot of kids in Silicon Valley, Google, or in the medical field, they're Indian kids now. And then if you want to also bring up the doggone El Salvadorians in the Philippines, a lot of them are dealing with U.S. contractual government deals. You're going to have to throw at me and boomerang it hard. What financial mogul is in bed with Haiti? And that literally they can say, hey, you guys, this is why we need to deal with Haiti. Bringing up the other immigrants, right now, you know why we're taking on them Afghans? Because right now we all understand everybody from China to Russia to different groups, they want what's inside Afghanistan. So they understand we take on some of your bastard children. Yo, dude, them resources, that tungsten, that aluminum, all that metal, we want access to that. America is about the dollar. And if I'm not going to deal with your child unless you're allowing me to have access to your dollar. So when you're bringing up, that's the thing about, I would have to ask, what is Haiti going to offer that literally will make it? That's just how America's always been.
You know what Haiti's going to do? They're going to do just like Mexico said. We have people that will take the jobs that your American blacks won't take. That our people will come to the United States and work for less than black people will work and do twice as good a job. We always need labor. They're sitting up there talking about there are 45 million jobs available and they can't fill them.
Okay, so okay, right there. No. Okay, so stop right there. So this is where, and this is why, this is one of the big reasons why a lot of people had a push against Trump, especially for the billionaires, because a lot of the billionaire corporations, who were the majority of their workers? Immigrants. So right there, to take on and reacclimate a whole country or a people. Granted, y'all, we do have Haitians in America. Also, notably, one of the biggest and most notorious gangs in America is a Haitian gang called the Zopounds. I gotta believe me. You can look them up. They're on Vice. Like, they're known for that. But they're also known. But guess what? How the Zoe became? It was clashing heads with not just white people, but with black people. So you're gonna have some issues with that also. Are some of the people going to join up with that game? Are they going to get reacclimated into that type of culture? You know,
BMT, I have to push back at you. I have to push back at you with
go
that.
ahead.
Let me tell you why I have to push back. Let me tell you why I have to
Go
push
ahead.
back. Every nationality that's here has some type of gang activity. They have the Brava, the Russian mafia. They have the Jamaican has it, Chinese triad, Yakuza. All these, they have all these elements. The whatever the Mexican gangs. Every type of nationality that have a cluster have some type of negative to it. We know that. That's just how it is. They always have some groups of people that do bad things. That don't mean the overwhelm all of them are gonna be that bad. They could come here and work, like you said. There's so many jobs that they can't fill. Why don't they make these people that come here work and fill those jobs? Why not?
Question. Now I'm asking, Kareem, what financial person is willing to invest and get in bed with Haiti? Because if I bring up
I don't know. I don't know.
Joe, can I ask a dumb question?
Rihanna, I don't know.
If I bring up, I'm saying if I bring
Joe,
up
can I ask a dumb question?
India, you're going to say Google or Nike. If you bring up
No,
China,
can I ask a dumb question? A dumb question. Somebody has already financially invested in these Haitians, because you're talking about 12,000 people that were able to get on a boat or boats.
I asked that question already.
Yes, I'm saying. You asked me who, and I said whoever got them over here in the first place, they've already provided some financial investment. At the end of the day, it's making the United States look very bad worldwide, because I don't care if you are Chinese and you're sitting up there looking at women and children being treated badly by men on horseback, running them down in the water. Do you want to do business with the United States? You know, maybe I'll pay a little bit more for products that I can get from China than to deal with, importing stuff from the United States. Maybe I'll go to South America instead. That these people did not get to the border all by themselves. Not at that concentration. You're talking 12 to 14,000. That's a huge, huge commitment to move that type of population. But now that they're at the border, look at those people. They not skin and bones. They've been eating along the way. But now they're at the border. They're at the border without any food or water. Play games. Whoever did this, they played games. Those people are not skin and bones. They do not look like the Ethiopian refugees that had gone weeks without food. These people look like,
they're not all Haitians. They're not all Haitians. There are other black Afro Latinos too. There's Costa Ricans that look like that. There's Venezuelans that look black like us. There's other people there. They're not all Haitians. But my point is, yes, you're right. Somebody did bring them there. So maybe it's, I don't know. I don't want to. Maybe it's Chinese, Russian, whoever. Somebody bring them there. But yeah, I don't know. But I do believe that some of these people were implanted. That's why I say you can't have all of them here. You have to vet them properly. So, but we could absorb some of them. That's my only point on this conversation.
So what I'm saying is this, and this is why I'm saying, like, listen, I've traveled around. It ain't easy just to cross the Gulf. That's a lot of little mini hurricanes and shit that happen in the Gulf. We just don't all get reported, right, Michelle? Right, D-Ray?
Right.
So you ain't using no banana boat to cross the fucking Gulf. They don't even. If somebody told you that, they're stupid. But also, somebody had to pay time and money. I agree with you, man. Somebody, if you would have said they made it to Haiti to Florida, I could give you that with them little banana boat cars and shit. I was like, all right, bro, that's a few hours. You know what I'm saying? You need probably a few water, maybe a day or two, but you can make that, even with this riding the current. But not this way. Not somebody helped them. But now the thing about it, I agree. If they need to find work, is this supposed to be the new workforce? Now, they are talking about trying to find a way Shout out to IMC. She said something that was very potent. She said, "Listen, and a lot of people don't understand. Getting legalized in the state is a long process, and it does cost money. It's not free. Okay, that's why they give you a work visa. You have to show and you have to pay to be part of the system. Everybody has to pay to be part of the system. And some people, well, you're American, you don't have to pay. Bullshit, dude.
You know, all the people who keep saying things like come in here legally. Do you know how many different type of visas there are? There's the I visa. We know about the work visa.
Yeah.
You need to
There's so
get
many
sponsored.
different type of visas. Like I'm
A U visa.
naturalized. I'm naturalized, but I got my visa before I came here as a child, as a student, and lived here as a permanent resident. Then you get your citizenship. It's not just you come here and you're a citizen. I don't know whoever said that. I don't know who on this panel saying, oh, you just come here and you're a citizen right away. It doesn't work like that. You have to go through processes and you have to pay money. Okay? So
yeah, lots of money.
Yeah, people act like I think it's like $900 to become a citizen now. People, it's not free.
Oh, you forget the legal fees. I'm sorry, my legal fees to do a U visa is $5,000. My legal fees to do an I visa is $15,000. So if you got $15,000, that's up front. That's the deposit.
Now,
that's the initial retainer.
Now the thing about it is, one, and I'm just being honest. Like, do I honestly think that the story's going to come to an end before the end of this year? The story's going to come to an end before the end of this year. I don't see it being very fortuitous for them to stay under that bridge, because soon after it will start. People are going to start getting sick. They can't stay out there like that. They're going to start getting sick.
Listen, those persons said they can't vet people that don't have ID. That's not true. You could vet them. If they don't have any type of ID, you deport those people. They have to be able to. You could call the embassy. You could call Haiti and verify it. So I don't understand why these people you can't vet them. You can. This is 2021. We have things now to vet people.
What I want you to do, Kareem, I want to definitely talk with you, because you have an immigrant background. I'll come to the country, so maybe you can talk with us. And I also like to have Dee Darrell there if he wants to, as well as Michelle, about the immigration process for people. Maybe there's stuff that we need to be educated on. Definitely hit us up at blackbrother123@gmail.com. Shout out to JJ Du Bois. He literally said trafficking. Y'all, believe me, the coyotes are coming. The coyotes are coming. If y'all don't think there ain't no traffickers in that damn group trying to fuck with them, y'all are sorely mistaken. Because listen, there's pregnant women and babies. They just don't pop up. But also, just like Faith was saying, like, hey, we can't afford to take on these people. This is going to be an ongoing conflict in the Black diasporas about who's going to take on these 12 wayward children. You know, I have to go, but I know we went over the time, but I definitely want to. If y'all definitely want to have another segment, shout out to my brother V-Dub. I know he's down there. Like I said, this is something. V-Dub, you want to close up with something to say before we go? But I know you talked about it on your stream. I'm not sure if you did. I know me and Michelle definitely. We have more.
200 and something people left. Right before I left work, they said they cleared out everybody. So the bridge is currently empty or underneath it.
Oh, so they got rid of all of it.
Yeah. So if you look up the news articles, they cleared them out. Everybody's either deported in 5,000 in detention centers, and like 8,000 went back to Mexico.
Well, congratulations, y'all. Kareem, you got what you needed. Everybody got what they needed. Hey, I told y'all, what were they going to, did I not say that be done? They're going to either take the women and the children, definitely. They'll most likely take some of them. But they're not going to send, they know some of the women and children will not survive holistically going back. So they'll say, we'll take that. But also, now here's the thing about the women's stipulation. If them women and them children do not keep up with their visas, and you know this tuna show, they will send their asses back. So, and Kareem, you know that also. Like, you got to keep up with your visa as a student.
Yeah, you get deported. You
Right.
get deported
So
if you don't do the right thing. They will deport you.
I need you to definitely email me, but I definitely want to set up a show about this because um, I'm going to probably do a show later on. Me and Michelle probably need to do a show, the cultured versus the uncultured. I think that's a big thing happening. Shout out to James Doe. James, I already knew he was there. 23 case American soldiers in Germany is so called what? Then I don't. American, listen, y'all. American soldiers are never leaving Germany. Me and the show can tell you that. They're never leaving Germany. They're never leaving Germany. They're never leaving. They're going to be there. That is one of our biggest bases in the world is in Germany. We're just not leaving that place. Like literally, you have Germany don't want us to leave Germany because guess what they do? They do business there. Like a lot of them work on the base. So they're not going to leave that. That's a $1 billion goddamn transaction. They're not leaving that. When it comes to this, like I said, but they could not leave those people there for too long. Too many things happen to a lot of immigrants when they start traveling. Violence, kidnappings, all kind of bad stuff. We'll see how it turns out later on down the line. On BMT, I've been joined here by a doctor, the one, the only, the clientele godfather, D. Darrell. I guess he's cleaning house. We also have my co-host, attorney Michelle, always bringing the facts. And also Kareem, she came up here bringing, but knowledge.
Speaking of facts, Joe, I'm sitting up here. I want to double check this. I want to double check it, so I'm going to send it to you before I read it out loud. But I mean, people will, I listen to you guys. Sometimes I'll get quiet because I know you guys have heard something, and maybe you haven't read it all. But we just let in 12,400 of the Haitians to enter the United States. 12,400 have been allowed to enter the United States, at least temporarily.
Wait, so 12,000. Wait, so 12,000. So they've been allowed to enter?
I'm reading the article. It's out of KTLA.
Jesus
said about 2,000 Haitians have been rapidly expelled on 17 flights since Sunday. But the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said Friday that the U.S. has allowed about 12,400 to enter the country, at least temporarily, while they make claims before an immigration judge to stay in the country under the asylum laws or for some other legal relief. They could ultimately be denied and would be subject to removal. But right now, there is 12,400 Haitians being processed, and he said 30,000 other migrants have been encountered by the Border Patrol in the Del Rio sector since September 9th.
So you're saying that they allowed all of them to deport in?
They at least got them out from under that bridge, and they started bringing them into processing centers. Now, for those who kept saying, fuck them, I don't give a dang, at least the United States. Biden said it was an abomination, that it was a disgrace the way that they were treated. And so they moved them into the United States. Now, I don't know how many African Americans feel. I hope they get processed and treated humanely. And those that can legally process in, be welcomed here with open arms.
Good luck. I wish y'all the best of luck. Jesus Christ. I wish y'all the best of luck. Y'all, this is going to be a very interesting year. Now,
like I said, Black people, we got to get our act together. If we're going to sit up here and say, no, we don't want the U.S. government to help the Haitians because they ain't helped us enough, then understand the United States can just go ahead and help them.
You're fair in saying that. I'm not gonna lie. As a Black American, part of me is what the fuck, but then again, I'm also like, hey, I'm glad they got help, but I'm also like, what the fuck does this mean for me and my people now? So it's kind of like, damn, like maybe I need to have D Darrell talk about this. Like I said, this is literally a diaspora talk because like I said, man, this is a conversation that the diaspora needs to talk about. Like they did need help, but then again, I'm gonna be like, Haiti, you should have helped your people. This is not.
But what if the United States has a plan and says, you know something, we're having too many problems with the African Americans. Let's bring in some Haitians, make them Haitian Americans, Jamaican Americans, Nigerian.
What problems?
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm saying we got too many problems. They are just filling our work.
Excuse me. Queen Mayat, okay. We are definitely Black America is definitely replaceable now. We are definitely replaceable. We are really replaceable. I now believe Black American children are now replaceable. We are definitely replaceable.
If you don't see the writing on the wall, if we don't start seeing the writing on the wall, we're going to have a problem. That if there's a long-term strategy, 50, 60 years down the line, to say, okay, we're going to bring in more African American immigrants from other countries, set them up so that we can have something to push back against the descendants of African American slaves, or descendants of slaves. What are we going to do about it? What's our strategy?
Not let other Black.
I can tell you right now, reparations is definitely off the fucking table now. We are definitely off the table with reparations. Like that, it's gone. If ever there was a time, I know it's gone. I know it's gone now. There is no more talk for that. I'm like this, yo. May the gods be with whatever you believe in now, because this is definitely. I'm going to say this to anybody else with a diaspora. Either you're for us or you're against us. Pick your choice. But the minute I start seeing you say certain shit contrary, yo, like, keep that same energy. Not hearing this.
I think the Haitian people is going to get to them and tell them to be quiet and just let the ADOS get their reparation. I think that's what we need to do. All the other diaspora, just shut them out and let the ADOS and the FBA get their reparations, because it will benefit us all. It will.
Now, we're gonna see. We're gonna see, Kareem. I'm just like, I have I'm literally sweating, y'all. Like,
but BMT, you
get the nervous breakdown. Like, this is, oh my god! Like, you can't just throw an unknown variable into the cog and not, like, I know people come in all the time. Jesus Christ, should we have taken the crazy orange man? Like, holy fuck! Like,
it would have been worse. It would have been worse if he was there.
Jesus Christ! Oh man, I'm just waiting for our trans Chinese president to come in.
Wait a minute, but BMT, didn't he call Haiti a shithole country?
Yeah, he would have sent them back. You know how he is. You don't like.
Yeah, he would have called him a shithole country.
Maybe, you know what? Y'all did come in. You know, you Haitian, the Haitian immigrant, y'all came in at the right time, because y'all knew damn well y'all would have came to that point with Trump.
They waited for Trump to leave.
Listen,
for Trump to leave.
Whoever is the agent of chaos that funded these Haitians, fuck you. But you played the game, and you sent them up here at the right time. Now, from there, now, I want you to understand this. Good luck for the rest of you motherfuckers trying to get into HBCUs. Good luck to the rest of y'all trying to get jobs. Good luck to the rest of y'all trying to get shit. I want you to understand, it's a competition now, baby. It's a competition now. It's going to be a competition.
I mean, if they pass through immigration, they will be bilingual, and they will have an advantage over Shaquan, Lanene. That, hey, take the French Haitians and put them at the five-star restaurants, put them at the 5-star hotels, put them at the airport. They're bilingual. They can speak to other French speakers that are coming in from France or Belgium or.
So I'm gonna have to do a whole talk about this shit, because see,
Okay,
I'm
I
all
think
about
what we should counter is,
microeconomics.
I think all ADOS persons should have free education at HBCU. They should all have free education.
Doesn't matter
We
now.
should
It
we
doesn't
should do
matter.
that.
Free education. What?
Yeah,
It doesn't even matter
like
now.
why wouldn't? Okay, my thing is, okay,
Wow.
you.
It doesn't even matter
What do you
now.
mean? Wow, shouldn't they have? Is HBCU is built? Those are colleges built for Black people, for Black ADOS Americans, right? Shouldn't they? So they should go there for
The
free.
education is not free.
It should be. That's what I said. I'm saying it should be free for all FBAs. It should be free. It shouldn't. They shouldn't have to pay for college.
You know the irony about this? African American children don't really go to HBCUs.
I know. That's
Nope.
my point. It should be free for them to go.
But we want to get, I'm sorry, I wanted to get into the other alumni association. I have friends who are part of the HBCU because I'm a Delta Sigma Theta. But in order to get in part of a prestigious alumni association that had millions and billions of endowment, people are fighting to go to the Harvards, the Yales, not to say that they're white, but to get access to those endowments, to get access. So education is not all about, opening up the same book. It's a lot of times about when you get out of school. I say this about Black people all the time. They say, "Oh, that's a BMW. Oh, that's just a Hyundai." There are some educations that are true enough, Mercedes and BMWs, some of them are Bentleys. Other educations are just a Hyundai.
You see how Kamala played how Howard, she used Howard to position herself to become vice president? Because if those ladies in her sorority didn't back her, she wouldn't be vice president. Because a lot of Black people don't like her. A lot of Black people don't see her as Black, and she's not Black. You know what I'm saying? So she leveraged her connection to Howard to get to the vice presidency.
So she used never known to do a lot intellectually speaking, right, compared to others. But
so is this something where
that was cold.
And so is this something these days where pretend to be a nigga to get the advances of a nigga, but don't fuck with the nigga? Because if that's the game we're in now, then I mean shit. Yo, may the God.
Is Cardi B Black? Is Cardi B Black?
No.
Hell no. Hell no.
They have now replaced Black women with the Cardi B's, the Kamala Harris's. They told us Barack Obama was the first Black president. Although, he is a part of the Black race, he's not an African American. He was not brought up in African American culture. But by, embracing the African American culture, we embraced a man that was brought up in Tunisia and Hawaii.
I embrace everybody now. I embrace it. Like I said, y'all gonna see. And when this country, this country really goes to shit, I want to see how long we're gonna last. Because we really don't. I don't know where y'all seeing that we got more money and more room at. Don't see it. Are we getting more Black farmers? Are we getting more Black entrepreneurs? Are we getting more Black people working at McDonald's now? And are y'all really doing that well in law enforcement or politics and stuff? Like, we're going to really see this flux of whatever it is that it is, because I've seen everybody else is getting a win.
The long-term things. My kids attended a school called the International Leadership of Texas. I don't know where they went and recruited these Koreans, but all of these Korean boys are well over 6'5", and they recruited them to bring them to the United States so they could really and truly compete in the basketball leagues.
I'm not worried about the Koreans right now. I'm talking about you have more Black diaspora people coming in here.
Maybe we could send some of those Haitians to Korea, because South Korea needs people now. They need kids. They need people. Their population is dying. So maybe we could broker a deal with South Korea to send them there.
See, BMT, I don't have a problem with the diaspora coming. I really don't. I have a problem with the behavior that these people come into this country and the sense of entitlement.
I don't exactly.
That's the issue I have.
You diasporas, I don't give a fuck about y'all coming here. All I know is y'all please shut the fuck up when y'all throw y'all flags at me. But I'm gonna be like, the same way you throwing that flag at me, take your ass back to your country and fix your shit. Don't ever come to me about slavery. Don't ever come to me about you and that white man. Don't ever come to me about anything talking down on me. And then I'm gonna be like, yo, same energy.
But see, instead
I'm
of
not saying that everybody's like that. I'm just saying I don't like it when people say you're not a cultured people. Because I'm gonna be like, well, motherfucker, you came to my culture, American culture, to get saved. So guess what? Welcome to my hell on earth. Pick your bed and lie in it because we're here. Everybody's not bad. There are good people. Like I know there's some good Haitian nurses. They're in the hospital right now, busting their fucking ass. I know some good Jamaicans. They got some pretty good wineries, different stuff. I'm not saying black diaspora people don't fucking work. I know quite a lot of them. Hell, when I didn't always have a good home, they taught me some good in-house stuff. But I agree. But
so
we do have a problem with some people look down on other people.
Right.
I never called nobody an African booty scratcher. I never called nobody something less than what they were. I don't like it when some people, when they come into their money, they start looking down on black community.
But you know what,
We're all black. We're all black.
But the
It's
United
just
States.
tribalism.
But I'm gonna say this: what other country other than the United States do you know that foreign people come to your country and look down on you? I don't know of any other dynamic like that other than America. I don't know of any other country where the foreigners come in and look down on the citizens. I've never heard of that. Like that is so illogical. But my thing is,
look what's going on in Britain. Look what's going on in Britain.
But
look how the immigrants are coming into Britain.
But they're not looking down on. They're not looking down on British.
Yes,
people.
they are. They are British women are hated. There are communities that British women cannot go into. Men with dogs are despised. Yes. Okay. I mean, we're not unique in the sense that everybody.
So you're telling me in mass that the British government is allowing their white females to be disrespected?
Yes, it's all over the news.
I gotta read that. I gotta read that. I've never heard that.
Well, like I said, expand your mind. Expand your mind.
Yeah,
the internet is for more than TikTok.
I'm gonna have to read that.
Immigration is an issue that we all is going to be an issue because the population, the way the world is, immigration is going to be an issue. It's not something we're going to avoid.
So
during the 90s, in Europe, they noticed that their white women were only producing 1.6 kids per woman, and they needed 2.3 to replace the next generation. So they warned the women. They basically said, we'll give you a year's salary for every kid you pop out up to 5. A whole year. The men got upset. They said, okay, if you marry the woman, we'll give you 80%. They said, why only get 80%? Okay, you couples choose. One of you get 100%, one of you get 80%. You can only bring the population rate up to 1.7.
So,
like I said, you need immigration because the population is not growing. You need it. Like, they have to have immigration. You guys don't think like these people are just doing this willy-nilly. They're doing it because they know they need the people here.
People
fact.
would be more willing to have more children if childcare and raising children wasn't so expensive. You know, instead of asking for people from foreign lands to come here and rape the system. I mean, the people here, if they made childcare more affordable, if they made things as far as the primary years of a child life less expensive, and so forth, and the medical care for kids and so forth, children, they would be more willing to have more children.
I disagree.
The reason why people have less children because it's expensive to have children.
Okay, sir, Mr. Darrell, no disrespect, but immigrants come here en masse. A lot of them us are working and contributing to the society. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're contributing to the society. We're not all just sitting down and not and just
I know
taking. A
I
lot of us
didn't
are
say that.
contributing to the
I
society.
didn't say that. I'm not saying that immigrants are not productive people. The vast majority, there's a vast percentage of immigrants that come here. They are very productive. But also we cannot be a country that takes on the problems of everybody else.
But maybe
That's what
we're
I'm saying.
taking on their problem to get ahead of the problem that we see with lack of population growth.
We can't solve the world's problems.
No, we're helping them solve our problem. We are sitting up there saying
We don't
we
need
need
them to
workers.
solve. We don't need
We need
foreign
you
people
not
to
no
solve
no.
our
I'm not
problems.
talking about you. I said the United States needs workers. And in order to get workers, they said, you know something, it'll cost us less to bring in these people from overseas to take these jobs because the Americans are complaining that they don't make enough money to afford daycare while they go out and work.
So that
These
means
people
you
have
need to
figured it
raise the
out.
minimum wage. You don't need to get foreign
No,
workers for cheap. You
a
need to
lot of
raise the minimum wage.
people that I know from immigrant families, they actually don't have to worry about daycare because there's a designated person in that community
Right. That watch their
who take
kids.
care of the kids.
Right.
That is what they do. So they have
And
a
Yes,
collective.
but for the average American, that's a problem. Child
Why
care is
is it a problem
expensive.
for Americans to come together amongst themselves and create concaves where in this community we will rotate the issue of childcare. So we don't have to depend on the government to say, "Hey, I need some help with childcare." Instead, we're going to work as a collective unit. That while I may work 9 to 5, I know other mothers that are off 9 to 5 because they might not go into work until the 10 to 8 shift. So I'm going to take on their kids while they take on my kids.
But see,
That's
what you're
not
talking
unheard of.
about is not entrenched in American culture. We just don't interact like that to do those type of things. That's just
Okay,
not part of our culture.
when I was growing up, Big Mama's house always had somebody's kids at it.
Yeah,
That was
that
entrenched.
was back in the day. But I'm
So
talking
you're
about.
saying that all of a sudden we lost our culture.
Yes,
That the way
no,
that
I'm not
we
saying we lost culture. There's certain things that we don't practice anymore.
why
That's
did
what
we
I'm
stop
saying.
practicing? Why did we stop
That's a
practicing?
good question. That's a good question.
I mean, when the slaves were out working, the older women always took care of the younger slaves. That we passed that on from generation to generation. That's why we have the term Big Mama. Big Mama really didn't have to be your grandmama. She was that older lady in the community that you went to her house for food, a little shelter while your mom and daddy were at work. It was just
Right?
expected. And we always looked out for the big mamas.
So I have this question. So since we're talking about as far as foreign people coming in, I would like to know when these cultures come in from the diaspora, they'll create a little Africa, they'll create a little Haiti like in Miami and other big countries. They don't integrate with other African American businesses to build. They create their own enclaves separate of African American people, and they do their own thing. Now how is that supposed to create camaraderie as far as us collective when you're separating yourself to create these enclaves independent of us?
I've never had any problems. I'm constantly being invited by Nigerian, Ghanaians, Igbo tree. I had to learn their culture. I mean, that's part of it. If I'm going to sit up there and go to a Nigerian function, I need to understand if it's Igbo, Yoruba, Fulani. I mean, I give them respect; they give me respect. But
listen,
also, I look at macroeconomics that they still have family members back in Nigeria that may need chickens. They may need chicken processing technology from the United States in return that they have more experience in the rubber industry. So you look at it macroeconomically and not all about, they ain't buying from us. It's like, what can we export to Africa? What can we import from Africa? What do we want from Haiti? We can set up trade relationships between the Haitian community and the Black community. But what do we want to export out? They're sitting up there saying that we have labor to export. We'll do it cheaper than others. We have cuisine that we can export. I mean, there are things to talk about.
So why hasn't that been done?
In some areas it has. It's
Where?
just, I know in like Arlington, Texas, for example, there is a community of, there's a Ghanaian community that actually does regular trade with the black nightclubs because everyone is just in love with their bread. So you start out with what you're good at. There's Ghanaians that can make the best bread I've ever tasted, and they pop that down at the black nightclub, and everybody said, forget cornbread, we want this stuff. So you start building small. It's like, what do you have to trade? What do I have to trade? You know, what would your community like to buy from us? It may not happen. It may not be the same in New York as it is in Texas, but you have to open up the trade dialogue, not the sad dialogue. You know, I have no problem looking down on some people because, you know, it's kind of like, okay, you look dirty and nasty to me, or you don't look like somebody I want to do business with. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hurt them or I think badly of them in that sense. I just don't want to be around you because there's no economic benefit for me. So a lot of times it depends on your socioeconomic status. If you come from a country where you're used to seeing rich black people, you have a different attitude than if you're not used to being around rich black people all the time. If you think that all white people are treated equally, you haven't been around poor white people when they interact with rich white people.
Facts.
So what we'll do, we're gonna do a talk, and I'll send it. I hope you got my email, Kareem. This was a really good conversation. I know
Thank
it
you.
was.
Thank you.
I know it was rough. I know it was, but these are conversations that we have to have. Knowing that there is now 12,000, you can't call them illegal now. Haitian immigrants. It's gonna be very interesting. I wasn't smiling for the Afghan immigrant. I wasn't smiling for the Chinese immigrant. I wasn't smiling for the Palestinian immigrant. I'm not smiling for that. So don't think I'm smiling for the to me, it's competition. But I'm happy that you're okay. Some of y'all can welcome it. Some of us don't. But they are here. How it's going to affect the economy of the nation. How it's going to affect whatever state that they go to. Wherever they go. I said, coming in, picked a bad time to come to the U.S. Really did. Really picked a really bad time. And winter's right around the corner. So I don't know where the fuck state you're going to. Because you ain't going, if you're going up north, I don't know where you're going to go to. I know it's going to get too cold. If you're going down south, what states? You going to the southern poverty? Are you going to California? California right now pushing out the movies. So are you going to Texas? Texas right now got stuff with immigrant problem. So unless you're going up there to that Midwest, it's going to be pretty rough. And I'm not being mean. I'm just being realistic about what's happening. But hey, Europe has already been taken in the process. Shout out to KS. KS says shout out to BMT for having a good conversation. Thank you. And he said shout out to Michelle. It's good. Michelle definitely comes in hard. Also shout out to Commendable K. I love it whenever he goes over finance. I hope he actually breaks down Commendable K. I just request. Please go over and I'll pay you if you want. But I would like to see what the U.S. does really have the finances to afford for immigrants at this point. Do we really have everybody have it? We have it. You know what I'm saying? As a child, You always think mom and dad have, but then one day mom and dad say, "I don't got it. I don't got it. So put it back."
Y'all keep dragging me back in. I keep saying I'm going to get on this conference call, but the Federal Reserve is actually a private organization.
We're gonna have the conversation. We'll have. I'll hit up. Commendable K. Commendable K. Please email me. I think I'll do that with a Commendable K, and I'll hit up you, Michelle. Do we really have the money to take on any more immigrants, or is it squandered resources? We need to have the conversation on that. Yeah, brother3@gmail.com. I definitely want to have the panel for that one, or that's something that we probably need to reallocate our sources. I'll see you guys later. Much love, much support. Thank you guys for coming on through.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank
Peace,
you.
peace,
Bye-bye.
BMT.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you guys later. Y'all take care.